A new era has dawned in this, the 12th year of Westbank modified saloon car racing. It's entertainment on wheels that the customers want, practice at speeds up to 300 kilometres an hour. The surprise of the season has been Jurgen Zubentheim and his Telstar Ford from Cape Town, who's rocked the V8 Chevy Brigade to its very roots.
He's got his car working very well, engine's very strong, and he's going to be a serious challenge. This is going to be one hell of a race.
But Chevy's king.
Oh yes, up the Chevys.
After official practice on Friday, Willie Hepburn led the Jurgen Zubentheim Ford by just 0.1 of a second, with the other V8s very close behind. Charles Wilkin leading as always in Class C, and his main competition, Dave Repsol, having trouble in practice. Charles, this little sprint is just romping away from the other cars in Class C.
Yeah, Roger, it's handling very well, and the extra gearbox is working perfectly on this track. And ever since Killarney, we had no problems with the car. Just wonderful.
And the other sprinter, big problems with Repsol?
Yesterday he went out a bit late in qualifying, so he had to contend with the rain.
Yeah, I was working on the car's exhaust system, and I thought, well, look, we've got 15 minutes to practice. I'll go out the last 10 minutes. And I got the car finished, I went out, and then the rain came down, and it was so slippery, I just couldn't put up a good time.
As you come down onto the starting grid at Killarney, 30 of these mighty Westbank machines line up for their first 12-lap race, round 5 of the championship. Back into Westbank modified racing, his Mustang is Dennis Olthoff, supported by his father Bobby, who has some interesting things to say about V8 racing.
Yeah, we're pleased to be back, Roger. We're actually running an experiment. We built what we call a budget engine using a lot of standard parts. So we limited to 7,000, maybe 7,500 revs. But we're just trying to prove that you can build an engine under 30,000 Rand and it can be competitive.
Finished just hours before making it onto the starting grid is this beauty, the driveline supported Opel Calibra V8, driven by its owner, Cape Townian Roddy Turner, having moved up from Group N racing and having his taste of 600 horsepower for the first time. As always in Westbank modified racing, the 2-litre Hyundai Sonata leads this big pack away on its rolling start lap, and the main reason for that is with the power being fed in through the transmission, there's a likelihood of breaking side shafts and back axles. So they have this rolling start, and the pace is dictated by the pole man. That's why it's so important to practice well, and that's going to be Willie Hepburn. When the light turns to green, he is the man that must be in front and will lead this huge pack away around this 3.3 kilometre circuit at Killarney. It sees some great racing, and the forecast is that this is going to be great racing as well. They've never had so many V8s in the field before. There's 8 of them, up from the 4 that started Killarney, 6 at East London, and now we've got 8 of these mighty machines on our way to the starting line. We're in with Larry Wolford. Willie Hepburn's on the left front, there he is. As they get ready to go, Peter Cock comes through, and they put down the hammer, and away they go. It's Hepburn into Conti corner, on his tail the local boy Jurgen Zubentheim in that noble Ford Telstar. In with Larry Wolford as we go around Conti corner. Ahead of him in third spot there is Peter Lindenberg in that Gestetner Opel, powering on 300 metres up to the brake markers at Castle Corner, and Zubentheim is starting to challenge. Look at the speed. They arrive at that circuit. Now they feed in the 650 horsepower. Carefully, just listen to that big power. It's just thunder all around Killarney as they go down the hill into Volkswagen corner. The camber goes against them. We're in behind the car and limited and auto-equip car of Peter Gock. It's Gary Dunkley. He was in 6th position, and the good staying right in there with them. And the speed of them as they come through the pit pen and finish lap 1 is Hepburn, and right on his tail he's got Jurgen Zubentheim right there as they all come pouring through. Hepburn's under pressure, he's left it too late, and Jurgen Zubentheim has gone through on the inside. Well, he certainly didn't mean to open that door, and the local man is in front of the Chevy. And on their way down to Castrol Corner, well, he's not going to let him get away. Very late on the brakes, gets under his wing. Got to be careful feeding the power. These cars can so easily get away. And Peter Lindenberg, the Formula 1 powerboat ace, is right there with him and on the pace. Then it's Larry Wolford. Gary Dunkley's next. Peter Gock is in there, and Roddy Turner as well. Look back in the 1400cc class. Etienne Roos, the man who's been leading this championship with him now, has been passed on the way into Castle Corner by Patrick Seddon at Opel and by little Ray Wolford. He's a champion in this class a few years ago, and he's gone to 2nd spot. Roos has got to make serious plan. Case Klein is in there as well, and so is Leon Skerpers. Look at the speed of those cars, among the fastest saloon cars racing in any other formula in the world. These 1400s really get around the circuit. In with Roos again. He's won all the races in the championship so far this year, but he's met his match in Cape Town. Skepper's the local boy, passes in the way through Sabat. That double right-hander on his way down his long acceleration. Is he going to be able to get a tow? The Skepper's car's getting away, and up the front again. It's still Zubenta. Listen to that grunt and roar of those cars as they just rumble into the standing corner at the bottom of the circuit, down into first gear, and they power it on. And here's the 1400s again. Great racing. It's Patrick Seddon being challenged by Ray Wolford right around the outside. And in Class C, just behind those V8s, here comes Charles Wilkin, leading the championship a little way ahead of Dave Refsol and some of the others like George Bezaidner in that Nissan. He hasn't put a wheel wrong all season. He's not going to put a wheel wrong this afternoon. He's Wilkins, and the 1400s are hard at it. This is heavy stuff. Here's Wolford going for it. He's trying to pass Seddon on the way down to Conti Corner. Has he got him? He's going to go around the outside. He's late on the brakes. There's a bit of swerving from the car, and Seddon just hangs on to that lead in the class. The man who's won all 4 races is getting taken to the cleaners. There he is with Skeppers right in his tail and going into Castrol. Suicidal braking there from Wolford. He's going a little bit wide. Has he left the door open? No, he hasn't. Seddon goes wide as well. There's Wilkins ahead in Class C with Dave Repsol behind him and the George Bezaidner, the class champion, behind him with Pat Duckham from Maritzburg in 4th position. It's Wolford in front. He's hanging on to his lead as he comes out of Castrol. They are trying very hard, close to the lap record on this very hot road, but there's a lot of wind blowing down here in Cape Town. You can see the southeast on those Conti flags. It gives the drivers an idea what they can expect as they go into the teeth of the gale around that Sabat corner. Here we are in with Etienne Roos. The opposition is now 100 metres ahead of him. He hasn't got any chance in this race of catching those two. As Seddon makes another charge, he's gone to the front again. He's half a car length ahead and accelerates away from Wolford. Seemed to leave the door open. It was very late braking, but Seddon had him on the way into standing corner, and it's all acceleration along the pit straight. But up at the front, it's Willie Hepburn, and on his tail and charging is Zubenta. Just listen to those V8s around there sliding their way. Big, powerful Yates Ford engine is giving it all here down at the coast in Cape Town. 650 horsepower, and the Gestetner Opel of Lindenberg is being challenged by Wolford all the way. It's Willie Hepburn. Zubenta wants to pass him again. He's trying on the outside. He's trying to sell him a dummy. He's gone wide. He's going to try and go through tight in the inside, but Willie keeps the door closed, and the Gestetner Opel of Lindenberg is right there with him. And look at that speed. 240 plus. It'll be upwards of 280 before they hit the brakes for Conti Corner, which they're doing now. Hepburn leaves it late. He has to go wide. So does Zubenta, and the Gestetner Opel of Lindenberg has got Wolford starting to challenge as they go around Conti. They light up their tyres, accelerating away towards Castrol Corner. The leaders are not too far ahead of them. Zubenta making a charge. Late braking. He goes on the inside of Willie Hepburn around Castrol Corner. He's got to be careful feeding in. There's traffic ahead of him. He's got himself a free car length as he accelerates down the hill into Volkswagen Corner, and Wolford is just behind Lindenberg. Willie wants past those small capacity cars as well. He slides his way around Volkswagen as they just feed the power on as they go up to Sabat Corner. And Wolford is right on Lindenberg's tail. Here he comes into Sabat Corner, double right-hander. He's starting to feed the power, and he's lighting up those tyres already. 650 horsepower at work, and it starts to just spread tyre smoke all the way down the straight. Now it clears, and Wolford's got a tow. He's going to make a charge now as he goes down to the brake mark. There's that marshal on the side. It's onto the brakes. Has he got him? He's got him! Wolford in that Fram Opel has taken Peter Lindenberg, but the race is far from over. The order: Zubenta, Hepburn, Wolford and Lindenberg as they come into view at that tremendous speed. Close to the wall to get the still end, get more speed down the straight. There's Wolford, and there is Peter Lindenberg also having to make plans how to get past. And he's trying it. He goes round the outside. I cannot believe it. Late braking by Hepburn. He goes right round the outside of Zubenta, who's making a comeback. He's going to try the same thing. Well, he's been a long time at this game. He's not going to let him in. He keeps close into the curb. Zubenta can't go around the outside. That's the long way around. And Willie's back in front. These two have been chopping and changing all around the circuit. What excitement. Down to Volkswagen Corner. Just sliding their way through. Feeding in the horsepower on their way past those blowing flags up to Sabat Corner. Wolford now is ahead of Peter Lindenberg. No, he's not. Lindenberg has done it again. He's gone wide. He's almost overdone it. He's lighting him up again. Those big Goodyears are being lit up, and the power is going down as he goes down behind the back of the pit. He's done it in what a place to do it. A real piece of brave driving. Down through that 4-speed box. Now the Noble Ford has got to be pushed past Willie Hepburn now. Hasn't got long to do it. He starts to foot it out. He's starting to lose control. He smokes the tyres. He's lost it altogether. Bentam's lost his second place, and Willie's on his way to the line. There goes Lindenberg past him on the... Wolford just misses his bonnet. It's Hepburn. It's Peter Lindenberg, the Stettner Opel in second spot, with Wolford third. Here he comes, a very lead man in third spot. Willie, a real hard race. One of the hardest I've seen you in.
That was a real serious race, Roger. It really was a heavy race. I haven't had a hard one like that for a while.
Has he got you anywhere around the circuit, acceleration, braking?
I would say it's much of a muchness. A couple of places I seem to exit the corner slightly quicker than him. But otherwise, they're very evenly matched.
It was an unbelievable race. I mean, it was flat out the whole way. And the best part for me was that I was definitely on the pace. I mean, that gap really didn't open much. And I had the best seat in the whole house because I watched that dice up front all the way through. And I actually thought just now one of them were going to lose it because they were really on the ragged edge. And on the last lap, Bentam obliged and let me go past, but it was a close call. When I saw the dust storm from his car, I thought, hell, I don't know if I'm going to hit him or not, but I'll just keep him my foot nailed because I could see Wolford in the mirror. So.
And Wolford was putting on pressure there.
No, he was going. He got past me at one stage. So, an unbelievable race.
What happened in the last corner?
I just tried to stay in his slipstream, or trying to get the slipstream, put it back into first, put it flat, car slided, and I thought I'm going to keep it flat, and the car decided I can't.
Is there much difference between the two cars, acceleration now and braking?
No, I think they're very much on par, very much the same.
So, a relieved Willie Hepburn wins that race ahead of Peter Lindenberg and Larry Wolford, Gary Dunkel and Jürgen Zubentheim. Class C went to Charles Wilkin ahead of Repsol and Bezuidenhout, and Ray Wolford took Class D, Patrick Seddon and Etienne Roos third. Between races, Peter Goch, who'd broken his gear lever, took it over to Owen Ashley's workshop, the man who'd built his car, to repair the damage. Round number 6 was held up for a few minutes just to allow Peter Goch to get to the line. Missing from the lineup was Roddy Turner. He'd had overheating brakes, and he'll have that repaired for the next rounds, round 7 and 8 at Velkom in the Free State. Onto the line, the man who won the last race, Willie Hepburn. He's won 5 of the 6 races so far this season, and he wants to add to that score. As reckless Rick Davis, a former Westbank modified driver, takes that Hyundai Sonata away from the line. He's got Brian Cook, the chairman of the association, in there with him just to see that this field keeps close enough and we have a clean start when they get the flag or the red light from Andrew Grever, the starter. We're in with Peter Lindenberg this time, and the camera's in his motor car ahead of him. He starts from the front row of the grid. He's got Willie Hepburn, and he's also got that Hyundai taking this colourful field around. Mighty horsepower in South African motor racing. Don't they look lovely as they line up for the start? It's going to be Hepburn again, dictating the start from the left of Lindenberg as we sit alongside him. Let's just listen to this power being fed in. The hammer goes down and Rolling Thunder is in action again. Gary Dunkley from the second row of the grid has gone through to third position ahead of Larry Wolford, and he's chasing after Peter Lindenberg. Willie Hepburn knows that the Ford of Zubentheim is down in the pack. He's starting the third row. He wants to open up a gap as soon as he can. As Gary Dunkley takes his chances, he passes Lindenberg on the way through. There it is. He's gone through on the inside. Lindenberg opened the door, and Gary Dunkley has gone through to second position. A real inspired drive from this East Rander. Then there's Wolford being passed by Zubentheim. He's charging through the pack. He wants after Willie more than anything else. He wants to win a race at Killarney in front of his home crowd. There's brakes going on. You can smell the tyre rubber. You can smell the clutches and the brakes all over the circuit with these big motor cars. There's Gary Dunkley now. Lindenberg's wanting to place through. He's got a tow. He's being sucked around in that still there. He's moving to the side to be able to do it. Is he going to be able to do it? He's coming up the inside. He's not. Gary Dunkley, a Porsche driver, a real fast peddler, has left it very late and holds on to that second spot. There they are, lighting up those tyres again. The smoke pours up, and Lindenberg's lost it. He's put on the power too early. He's gone off into the infield, and Peter Lindenberg is off. Turns out that his accelerator pedal is broken on the floor with all the spinning from the force of his foot hitting it, and he's out of the race. Lindenberg's race is run. Gary Dunkley's in second spot. There comes Zubentheim. That blue Noble Ford Telstar is on a charge. Locking wheels, it seems to be a trademark of his. He did in East London as well. He sets the brakes differently to anybody else. And Wolford is also challenging there as well. That white Nordson Opel is right in there with him as we go in with him. He sees Zubentheim ahead of him. They're doing 260 kilometres and out the back of the pits at Killarney, down amongst the blue gums, onto the brakes, and Wolford staying with him as Zubentheim makes a charge past Gary Dunkel. He's done it. Late on the brakes, he certainly knows this circuit exceptionally well. This is where he spun it the last time. He doesn't want to try that again because it'll really push him down in the pack. They pass the Stricken Lindenberg. It's the Telstar, it's Dunkley, and then it's Wolford. When you throw out the anchors past the Goodyear Bridge, you're really breaking late. This is the battle for second position. Willie Hepburn has opened up a gap and is gone. Or is he? Got the Telstar second, then it's Gary Dunkley in that Sabat Opal, then it's the Nordson Opal of Larry Wolford. There's nothing between these motor cars, accelerating away from Castrol Corner. And the Class C battle. Once again, Charles Wilkin, always up front. He hasn't been headed this year. Very neatly turned out the Roger Taylor prepared car. Number 45 is becoming famous in this country, doing incredible things. It's won championships. He's in fact won 3 Class D championships over the last 3 years. The Nissan Exchange centre there of George Poseidon is in second spot, and behind him he'll have Pat Duckham, and then he'll have Dave Repsol. And Zubentheim is starting to make his way through the traffic, and as you see, he's really trying, using the curbs as well. Going round the outside of Wolford is the Sabat Opal of Gary Dunkley. Is he going to make it? Has Wolford got the advantage? He's got it as he goes into Sabat, double right-hander. Starting to wind on the power now. They're just feeding it in through those 4-barrel carburetors they use in NASCAR racing. The fuel is getting sucked in, the power is getting put on the road, and he's on a charge is Gary Dunkley. There's the second place man. Still got a long way to go to catch Willie Hepburn. Larry Wolford is in third now. Nice piece of driving. Aggressive driver. Here's the leader. Just getting it sideways as he goes into Conti Corner. We're looking for the Telstar. Here it is. Coming down the road, it's about 200 metres behind, about 2.5 seconds behind Hepburn, and there's enough of this race left for him to catch him. Larry Wolford hauls it back into second gear into Conti, and he's lost it! He's lost it, and Gary Dunkley just picks up his third position. He's been second, he's been fourth, and now he's back to third. Yes, poor Larry Wolford has got to start all over again and catch up to the league impact. And here's the Telstar, still in the charge. He's got it down to 2 seconds now. Always seems to lock the brakes just in that same position. That's the way he sets up the car. It's like a vacuum cleaner going around the circuit. There's the third man, Gary Dunkley, an inspired drive by this man, a car enthusiast, if ever there was one. Willie Hepburn, sounding a wee bit rough. He's down to 7 cylinders, and this is going to give Zubentheim a chance. Willie Hepburn is in trouble. A plug lead has come off, or he's over-revved it, and Zubentheim in the same spot. He left it too late. He's gone off on Stanley Corner. He's trying desperately to get it back on the road, and he's pulling a mountain of dirt onto the road. It's going to make it very slippery for those slick tyres. And here's the first victim. The first victim is Larry Wolford. He's lost it as Dave Repsol in the Automark Toyota just paws past him. Wolford fighting it back into the road, onto the road, and on his way. He certainly had a dramatic race. There's Dave Repsol on the Automark Toyota. Here's Wolford gathering his thoughts now. There's a bit of damage in the front of his aerodynamics. That'll affect the handling of the car. Hepburn's in front. Is there enough time left? It certainly sounds rough. He normally revs it to 8.5 and maybe beyond that. And Zubentheim is starting to smell blood once again. It happened in East London. There he comes. He's got it down to 1.5 seconds. That's all there is between him. And hold on, Willie Hepburn has spun it on the dirt that Zubentheim pulled onto the road, and Gary Dunkley has a chance of winning this race. Willie's starting to pull away there, but Gary's on a charge. If he can just catch up, he could pass him to that. And Dunkley's lost it as well. He's also piled off on that pile of dirt pulled onto the circuit, and Gary Dunkley is stuck at the side of the circuit. He's going to get it going again. As Wolford says, thank you, Gary. It comes past, and he picks up third position. Gary gets his car going, and he's going to come home fourth ahead of Vulcan, George Poseidon, and Dave Repsol. What a motor race.
There was all sand on the circuit in which the Bentham had spun onto the circuit. I went through it cautiously, but the car was already so hot it just slid off. Fortunately, I managed to get it going and got away, and Gary, who was behind me, should have actually got past me, but he spun in the sand as well.
Gary, 200 metres to go, and you thought you were going to win that race, didn't you?
I really thought so. Willie was parked sideways across the track. There was a gap in front of him for me to go through, and then I hit the same patch of sand that spun him.
But you were quite excited.
I was very excited, but not after that.
But you're loving this racing, eh?
Very good. Excellent. I had a lovely start. I got from fourth to second at the second corner, and then had a good race, really, until that last corner spin.
At times you thought they weren't going to do it, but double wins for the day for Willie Hepburn in the Opel record, for Charles Wilkin in the Sprinter, and for Ray Wolford in that City Golf ahead of Seddon, Etienne Roos and Leon Skip.